Today we're going to be looking at the brand new GearWrench bolt biter extraction sockets. So stick around to check these things out. I got this cool little demo display here. Comes in this cool little box, a bunch of information on the back. It's got a little manual here with a ton of information on here. A nice little chart on the back here for part numbers and everything else. I'll try to put a picture of this up on my Instagram so you guys can go back and reference that in the future for part numbers and everything. But this little demo kit over here on the vise, I've already got the little display. Let me take that off real quick so I can show you guys. It's basically got a bunch of little rusted, completely rounded off bolts on there. You can see this. They're rounded off. And on this display bar, these are 19 millimeters. This is a 19 that's just rounded off. And this one is supposed to be like a 19 that is rusted down a little bit. Because you know sometimes when you get bolts that have rusted down some just due to age and stuff, they're not always a true 19, and a 19 millimeter socket or extraction socket doesn't really work on them. So they've got a solution for that in their kits. We'll talk about that later. And the same with the 10s here. This is a standard 10 millimeter that's rounded off, and this one's a rusted down 10 millimeter that's also completely rounded off. So let's get into a test here that I've got set up. Real quick before I get started, if you do pick up one of these extractor sets, here's how it's going to come. This is an 8-piece. This set runs right around $50. They also have a 15-piece that runs around $100, and then they have the 28-piece master set, I guess you would call it, and that runs right around $185. And those are going to come on the plastic rails like this. So that's what to look for if you pick those up, for people wondering. But let's get into this demo. So here are the demo sockets. Now you can kind of see the design on here. It's kind of like a twist-on style socket, only they're actually designed to work forward and backwards, which no other extraction socket I've ever used works like that. So that's really cool and a really interesting design. They're also made to not get stuck on the bolt really bad like most extraction sockets will do. If you've used twist-on sockets in the past, you know that you normally have to beat them off with a hammer by the time you're done with it. So those are designed to not have to do that, so that is really cool. Another really cool feature I want to point out before I get started on this test is, you see here's the 10 millimeter. You see, 10 millimeter. And then here is a 10 millimeter. And then, I'll look later. And then you can see a little minus after the 10 millimeter. This one's going to be just a tad bit smaller than a 10 millimeter. And then same goes for the 19 right here. This one's the 19 minus, and this one's the 19. So the 19 minus is going to be just a tad bit smaller and be more helpful on the bolts that have rusted down some. Alright, before we even put these on this demo bar, I've got a whole selection of sockets over here that I want to test out on this bar over here to see how just a regular socket will grip these bolts that they have on here before I even put the GearWrench extraction sockets on them. So let's jump over here. We'll start on a 19 millimeter. We'll throw some sockets on there and see how they grab. Alright, so I'm going to start off with a 19 millimeter gray pneumatic socket, 6-point, as you can see. On the smaller 19, it just spins freely. The larger one also just spins freely. Next, I have a Pittsburgh impact socket, 6-point. This one's a relatively new socket. Spins freely on the rusted down one, and also spins freely on the rounded off one. Next, I have a Craftsman USA 6-point impact socket. Freely, spins freely. So you can kind of see the trend here. Most sockets are not going to grab these. For all you snap-on lovers, here's the snap-on 6-point. Spins freely. And once again, spins completely freely. And I just got a few more. Here's another gray pneumatic. This one's a 3/8 drive, 6-point. That one also spins freely on both bolts there. And then lastly, we have a Husky spline drive. I know they say spline drive is supposed to grab rounded fasteners a little better, so let's see if it does. Nothing. It actually feels pretty loose, if you can see that. And then once again, nothing. Feels pretty loose. So that is the 19 millimeters. Let's jump over to the 10 millimeters and see how those do. I got a 10 millimeter gray pneumatic here. As you can see, that spins completely freely and spins completely freely. I have a Cobalt spline drive 10 millimeter. Spins completely freely and spins freely. Once again, that feels actually kind of loose on there. So those spline drives feel pretty loose on those rounded off fasteners. Here is another spline drive, Husky. This is one of the newer ones. Spins free and spins free. Let's do a Mac Tools 6-point. This is their, I forget what they call these. It's like the Precision Torque or Mac Edge sockets or something. It might be Mac Edge, I forget. But it's supposed to be for like rounded off fasteners. Spins freely. And it's got a little, it grabs a little bit. But it still spins. But I will give it the fact that it actually does grab a little bit. So that's more so than the other ones have done so far. Here is a GearWrench 6-point socket. Spins freely, spins freely. And then here is a Husky 6-point. It spins freely and spins freely. Alright, so let's move on to these extraction sockets. So the regular 19, obviously, it fits kind of loose on there, but it still kind of grabs. I'm not going to do it too much because I don't want to get it wedged on there. But on the standard 19, you put that down on there. These are 3/8 drive, by the way. You put that on there and it grabs that way and it grabs this way. And then as you could see right there, it actually wasn't stuck on there that bad. With a lot of these extraction sockets, when you get them down on there, you know, you just hit this one the other way and kind of wiggle it off, it comes right off. And on this one, that it's real loose, and I'm sure it would probably spin if I, yeah, there you go. It spins completely freely on there. That's where this 19 minus socket comes into play. Put that on there and it spins. You know, it's tight, but it spins that bolt in there. And I'm putting a pretty good amount of force on that and it's not slipping at all. And right there, you've seen how easy that come off. It's actually pretty impressive. I've never seen an extraction socket like this before. how it comes right off is really cool, actually. It saves you from having to get the hammer out and punch and trying to punch it out of there. So the tins are kind of the same, you know, regular tin on here, fits on nice and snug. That one fits on loose and it spins. Then the negative tin, you put that on there. And it grabs nice and good. Doesn't get wedged on there too bad. And get this tin on that one. This one's pretty mangled up at this point from me screwing around with it so much. And it still grabs really well. And it just comes right off. Now, another really cool thing about these sockets that I did not mention yet is the fact that you can also grab them with a wrench if you need to, like so. And that gives you, you know, a lot more low profile option. You know, you can grab them with a pair of pliers, and these are impact rated. So you can use an impact on them. They actually advertise them as impact rated. As you can see right here on the box, there's an impact driver on it. So these are impact rated, and they are covered by GearWrench's lifetime warranty. So if you know, end up rounding these things out or whatever, they're going to replace them for free. You know, wherever you can warranty your GearWrench stuff. Now, if you want all the minus sizes, you're going to have to get the master set, because the middle set, the 15 piece, it comes with the 13 millimeter. I believe that's the only one it comes with that has the minus size. But if you want all of the minus sizes, you're going to have to get the 28 piece set, and that comes with all the minus sizes throughout the set. So that's about it. I really think you guys should check out these extraction sockets. These are really interesting, and honestly at first I kind of had my doubts about them. But after putting it on this little tester they have here, I really think they will work really well. So I will definitely update you guys in the near future on my Instagram page on how I like them when they're actually, you know, when I actually put them to use day in, day out. And, you know, I may make another video in the future of a long-term review. This isn't necessarily a real world review. It's more of a, you know, just first look at this tool, showing you guys what all it can do. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button down below. And as always, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you have a great day.